everyone, I have a few pro tips that I'm going to be sharing, and the first one I'm going to be sharing is about getting a good price at a garage sale or a flea market for a game. There are some situations where you can use this little tactic, and I've had it work for me quite a few times before, so I'm going to share it. What it basically works with is people who don't know things about games. You can't go to a game table or go up to gamers and use this tactic because it's probably not going to work unless they're feeling sorry for you. And in that case, they still might give you a deal on the third tip. Anyway, so the first tip is always point out the game that you don't want first. So this is an example here. We've got Aragon, we've got Lego, we've got Skate 2, which aren't the worst games, but the one main one here we're looking for is Mario Party 8. So this would be the one that I would want in this stack. So what I would do is I would start asking them first about these games down here. Now this is if they don't have any prices up. So the first thing I do is I'd say, how much are your games? And if they come across to me and they say, well, I'm not really sure what I'm asking, just pick out the ones you want and tell me, and we'll make a deal. And I really don't like that because then it can go anywhere. So I would start off by saying, how much is Aragon? This one here or something. And they'd probably say, let's imagine they're all going to be $10. They say, well, that one's 10. Because initially, they're going to think, if they're not knowledgeable in games, most people tend to think, that's the one that you really want. That's the one that's going to be most valuable. So try to go to the ones you don't want to first. So then after they give you a quote for one or two of the really crappy games, then just say, well, what about the other ones? Act like they're maybe going to be a little bit less, like those are a little pricey for you. You'd like to pay a little less. So then they might actually say, well, the other ones are $5. And then you'd be like, oh, I'll take this one then, thank you. The second pro tip that I'm sure everybody already knows this one though is try to ask for a bundle deal. If they're asking, if they have a price there or if they haven't given a price, this is when you don't have a whole bunch of people coming up behind you, you have a little bit of time so you can negotiate a little bit. Then you'd sort of say, well, what do you want for all of them then, after you ask a few prices? And they might be able to give you a bundle price because they might actually just be interested in getting rid of all of them. Third tip is if it's still really, really expensive, if they're still going like $20 a game, then or $10 a game, say you'd want to pay at the most $10 for this game, then what you'd do is you'd say, okay, well, you'd put out some of the really good games and say, out of all of these here, say we took this one and we had some other Marios or something, this is only if you want to take something home and you know that they're never going to give you a lower price. You'll say, out of these 3 games here, which one of them could you give it to me for $10? Could you sell any of them for $10? And sometimes they just want to make a little money and they'll say, well, I could sell you this one. But if you've only picked out games that are actually good and that you want and are worth way more than $10 or way more than the amount that you're quoting, then you'll still be winning if you could take at least something home, right? So I would put this one and some other Mario ones, and I'd say, if they were all 20, I'd say, could you give me at least this one or any of them in this pile here for $10? I only have $10. So that's another pro tip. So those 3 pro tips are definitely what you want to follow, and start with those. And if you have any more pro tips, leave them in the comments if you want to share. I know a lot of people don't want to share their tips, but I'll give away a few of them. Thanks. Bye.